Welcome to the Pondcast, the destination for insightful discussions and interviews on the appreciation, conservation, and husbandry of reptiles, with a focus on turtles and tortoises. Now, let's join our team of turtle nerds.
I can throw a flag.
And Kevin speaking while it starts. First of all, he was late to the pre-show, and now he's speaking while it starts. This is terrific.
I'm the best.
I had been thinking about like the lead-in to the show, right? This big moment, and we do the same corny thing every. Hello and welcome to the Pondcast, and introduce everyone. But everyone knows everyone. We're here for one reason tonight, and that's Viviana. Okay, so don't get it tangled or twisted. Viviana, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi everyone. Thanks so much.
Viviana, yeah, isn't this great? This is so great. Viviana Ricardez is the Vice President and Treasurer of Texas Turtles, right? A 501c3 nonprofit since 2019, right? So that's awesome. As one new turtle-based nonprofit to another, isn't it awesome?
It's cool. It's a lot of work, as y'all know. It's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into all of that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I didn't cut you off, right? Really? Let's get back to making fun of Kevin for showing up late. I'm just kidding.
1 minute to spare.
Kevin's beard is looking great. Yeah. Let's start with something positive. You know,
I decided to let it go for a while. Yeah.
Good for you. Congratulations.
I think I'm going to minimally do 6 months.
Good.
6 months. Wow.
Playoff beard. Yeah. It's funny. To quote Pulp Fiction, what we find pleasing to the touch and pleasing to the eye are seldom the same thing. So I think me without a beard looks horrible. However, with a beard feels horrible. So pros and cons.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Pros and cons. Yeah. If I don't want to. This is disgusting, but if I don't want to like smell my meal 4 hours later because it's like in the mustache. You know what I mean?
My only qualm with it is if it goes in my nose, like straight up.
With the mask now, forget it.
And there's no way around that. When that happens, it always happens at like the worst time ever.
It'll wake you up.
Yeah, or you'll be in public somewhere and you got to figure out, how do I do this? Because if I go up there, they're going to think I'm picking my nose, but what's worse, you know?
Right.
So you're just kind of like, you know.
I say just pick your nose and own it, you know?
Yeah, it's a point. That's definitely
right. It's true. I totally agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And it's so fitting and so us to pick an early topic side discussion like this that our guest can't be part of.
Can't even relate to. Yeah.
Right. Isn't that just great? We're just tremendous hosts in that way. But the reason why we came on air and it was that awkward and Kevin was talking, I don't know if anyone heard that. We were really having a fun time with the intro because we could watch it as the viewers are watching it live. So that was fun. And Viviana enjoyed it, I think, which made us all excited and see it in a different light, I think. So
hey, really quick, for anybody that's watching, take a moment, type in the comments if you think there's anything we should change about it, things you think would be funny to add in there. We're open to ideas.
Within reason.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say we're take the ideas, but we're open to them.
No, we might take the ideas. Yeah. Just, we're busy, we're lazy.
Did we get the first comment yet that says, okay, fine, please stop everything that you do?
Nobody there.
I was talking to my wife about this. Dax Shepard recently was talking about that on podcasts, right? Like the great thing about having a podcast is that generally the people who tune in like your message and appreciate what you're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't go out of their way to do that. But, if you're Jimmy Kimmel or someone who's on TV, then, they're just turning on their TV and they have to watch you. So you get a lot more negative from that, I think. Anyway, not to compare us to TV people, but it's not as bad as you think. People are generally nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Viviana, you watch the podcast, right? The Pondcast?
Yes, for a while now, for a couple of 4 or 5 years now, something like that. And
that's it.
Like I mentioned, the next day at work, when I, if I miss it the day before, I'll listen to it while I'm at work. So, that helps. That
is so flattering. It hurts. I can't even talk. My heart is so full right now.
It is. It's like, I missed it Monday night because of the gym or whatever. And so I'll just have it going in my, I have it face down. So like my boss can't see like why there's 4 guys on my phone, gotta put that face down and just listen and just think about turtles, you know.
Right.
That's so good. That is so good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start with that. Tell us about being kind of your experience growing up a turtle nerd, an animal nerd, a reptile nerd.
Yeah, lifelong turtle nerd, and like all of us, you know, it's that one turtle. You know, it's that one turtle you find crossing the road that like that's it. You know, you're hooked. And it was always animals. It was always reptiles. It really got into invertebrates really little. And I was telling a friend that had someone found me young, they would have taken me down the invertebrate path, but it ended up being
Interesting.
turtles, which is great.
Wow,
So I really
yeah,
like that. Really inverts as well. Because that was really the first thing you get to find in your backyard, or like what roly-polies, ladybugs, praying mantises, June bugs, fig beetles. I played with all those really little, and then finding the turtle crossing the road, just I was sold. And so, like I said, it went from that to everything, reptiles, creatures. I mean, we had it all. I had, whatever I could keep as a kid, kind of thing.
That's so cool. I have so many questions already.
Okay.
What was that first turtle, though? I have to go there first.
Redder slider, a good old redder slider. Native to
awesome.
Texas, found crossing the road. And so
See, that's
I, always
thing right there.
Native to Texas.
Can you believe
crossing the road
where it belongs?
Oh yeah. I mean, and so that's all. And it was like next to the highway, so there was nowhere for us to like take it. And of course, this was 1995 to make us all feel old, which was 25 years ago. And we didn't know to move them in the direction, or we had all these other like highways and byways and McDonald's by. So my dad let me bring it home, and of course we know now don't take them home, find the nearest body of water and that whole thing. So we took it home, and then it was like April. A few weeks later, we found a melanistic millslider. So I was hooked on them. They're another huge favorite of mine. And my dad basically like just dug a hole in the ground and put in a pond liner. I kept him there for a while. So it came time to where it's like, okay, we need to let him go. And thankfully, where we let him go by my house was in their home range anyway. So they were fine. So anyway, so that's how it all started. And then I think once I let the sliders go, it became, I think I really wanted one, and my dad bought me an ornate box turtle. And in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the 90s, all that was legal to sell. And we went to the local pet shop, and I picked out a female ornate. And like I said, back then, we didn't have the internet of what we have now. And so I spent a lot of those early childhood days, like at a resale bookstore. I don't know if y'all have half-price books up there, but I spent more time in the reptile section just looking through whatever. And that's kind of the only anything I had to go by as far as how to keep an ornate. Thankfully, I did okay. But y'all might have seen this. This was my first husbandry.
Oh yeah.
That I had since my dad got me this. It has still has my name in it and all that stuff. So that's what we did is books and trying to figure out how to keep it. I did okay. So it was really fun. It was good. And just from that it unraveled to more box turtles and more my dad stopping on the road like all the time to pick up turtles and stuff like that. So it's really cool looking back on it, if that makes sense. Like looking back on everything that happened then that kind of shaped on how things are now.
I love how most people's origin stories are fairly similar,
Yeah, exactly. We all kind of have the same picking one up, and especially box turtles, and especially like here in DFW, they used to be a lot more common. And highways went in, strip malls went in, all the land from here to Oklahoma where you would find them every spring crossing the road. They're gone. There's still a few pockets like in the city here, but it's interesting looking back on how much in the pet trade they are now, and then how they were then. And it's been interesting looking back on it, on everything that happened box turtle wise with me, and that being the first turtles I really took care of.
I think it's so cool that you still have that book. Like, maybe I don't. Do you?
So almost all of them. These were like the first field guides that my dad bought me.
Awesome.
Cool.
They're not that great, but like it was a set of 5. So that
I
was like
love
my
it.
starter pack.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so cool.
the reptile one and the insect one are the most worn out. So I use those the most.
Right.
So they're not great, but I learned a lot pretty young, and it didn't take
Right.
much for me to just dive in and to just become, wanting to know all about turtles and insects or whatever creature that I could find.
It's funny too, because like what Kevin just said about how like we all have some of the similar stories, and it's even with the books, you know what I mean? And I still,
Yeah.
I love books. I especially, and even coming from somebody I consider myself kind of social media savvy. And I know that like we're in a day and age now where it's not going away and we need it, and it's the way things are. But I love books. Our whole bookcase right there in the family room is just turtle book after turtle book pretty much. And then field guides too. I grew up on the Peterson field guides and just,
over there.
drooling over those photos of how can I find that, and I long live books. That's all I'm getting at with that. I even when, we used to do the Hamburg Reptile Show, Anthony, I never left there without buying a book.
Yeah.
The old books, like the cover was falling off and you'd be like, how much? The guy'd be like, $20. You'd be like, $20, the cover's falling off. All right.
I'll take,
you had to have it.
Yeah, it was definitely, things are so different, because now at our fingertips, we have access to how to set up a baby box turtle. Dan and Greg, I could learn how to set up log in, and someone can teach me how to set up box turtle, any type of turtle or whatever, which is good. It has its good and its bad, as y'all see all the time, because there's misinformation and all kinds of different stuff going around. And I think back to do what? Sorry, Chris.
People get so culty with it too. You've got these Facebook groups that are like, they hate each other because like you're not keeping the baby box turtle the way that person A is suggesting, so you get kicked out of that group or you leave and you go over to this group like, these guys are cooler, But for the day and age that we live in, there's still so much inaccurate information out there,
Yeah. And I was been thinking back on that a lot, like I said, leading up to this podcast, because I remember we found a bunch of box turtles coming from Oklahoma back home to the Dallas area, and my dad stopped and picked them up. And of course, like I said, now we know don't take box turtles out of the range. Lucky for me, I was willing and knew how to take care of them for years and years and years, and my parents helped me. But I don't know how my dad knew that there were three-toed box turtles and ornate box turtles. So my dad was in the background doing his own research and figuring this stuff out to teach me and helping me. And while thinking about that, it's, now we can, like I said, we can type into YouTube or Google and find out about a species. But when I was a kid, I'd be like, hey, Dad, or, what about this, this, and this? And I think y'all remember it in school when you asked a question and like, go look it up in the encyclopedia. Y'all remember encyclopedia? Yeah. I went to my parents' house and picked these up because you were a kid and you had to go and dig through this book that was so not interesting and try to look up whatever we could about turtles. And that was from 1995, which has been 25 years. So
right. The beginning of the turtle obsession.
And you know what? You never got good photos in the encyclopedia. I don't know, at least for me, and I think I'm even still guilty of this. If you go into a book and the photo's not there to complement it, it's that much harder to keep reading on.
Oh,
you know? So, and with an encyclopedia, you get turtle. It's a red slider, fine, but I get it.
Yeah, so
hilarious.
It was interesting, and it's I had this cool base for keeping, turtles and box turtles, and it just kind of all developed from there. I mean, it's definitely been a trip.
I think an interesting thing with, just my wife and I were having a discussion on this, keeping books. She would call me a hoarder of things, especially books. I love books, but books are a more responsible thing to hoard than animals, right? If you love the animals, having information on them is better than having them, or especially if we're talking about quantity of either of those things. But to me, books are a reminder of all of the things that we don't know. So why I don't understand. You buy these books and you don't read them cover to cover. Well, a lot of them are references. and they're there, and it is a reminder of things I don't know, and kind of like a challenge to myself to use them in writing or to use them in research or that sort of thing, as opposed to somebody who doesn't want them. Exactly. Right.
Oh yeah. Well, I make sure mine, like, literally, like, you know how many of my good turtle books have been ruined now, but I love the fact that, like, they don't put them down. You know what I mean? They're oh, daddy this, or look at that, blah blah. And it's so important. And you know what? To go back to what Anthony just said, I think part of the reason that we hold on to them or want them so bad, the books, that is, at least for me, it's a piece of a time that's leaving us. Like they're. I mean, Anthony wrote a book, like, I wish that's something I could say I did, and I would, cherish that, because you got a book, and anybody can write stuff online, and not to take that away from anybody, but it's, there's just something special about that. And
there you go.
There it is.
You guys will.
Plug books.
You guys will.
Plug books. We can plug books. You want to do a plugging book segment? I'll reach right here. And there's Carl's box turtle book. Wish I had that when I was a kid. And then his other book. And more on that later.
I love it. I love this.
There you go.
Yep, look at that.
Kevin has it. You ready?
Awesome. Great.
Ready? I had another
kind of like seeing
thing over
Jaws. They're carrying scars, but pretty cool.
There you go. He's got a scar. My scars are on my legs. I've got plenty of scars from turtle stuff.
This was a gnarly non-turtle related scar.
This is my hot take for the moment. I'm sorry, before we get into our Jaws sitting on the boat at night comparing scars conversation, this is my hot take, that of the 5 people on this podcast, because for those of you viewing, Steve is in the background as well, 4 will end up publishing a book. That's my hot take.
4 will end up publishing a book?
Kevin, I love that you take that as a slight to you. Kevin, I actually, there's a percentage chance that you will publish as well, but then there's a percentage chance that the rest of the people on the podcast.
You'll do it before me.
Listen, it's not something I'm like necessarily interested in doing. I'm not offended by it.
We're going to talk like 20 years from now. We're going to have a conversation after you publish your 3rd book, and we're just going to laugh about this.
I think I just read I actually, you know what? That's not true. I actually will publish a book. It just won't be turtle related.
I was just going to say that mine's probably going to be about, like, my love for ice cream,
Mine is about
and I'm going to try to sell it to the turtle community, and they'll be like, "What's wrong with this guy?" You
guys are both weird.
Just to preface the world out there right now, I am currently in the process of writing a book about a children's computer that at night does black market illegal stuff. It's like a live computer,
Yeah, we get it. We got it.
I feel like I just snorted really loud at my microphone.
You did. It was awesome. Yeah. It was awesome.
I'm sorry. I can't do it on command. Yeah. Good for you, Kev. Good for you, man. I'm proud of you.
I may be the first one on here to publish a book again. The next one, I should say.
Right.
I feel like I want to. My books are all the way over there, and I want to go grab a bunch, but I'll stop.
Don't go grab books. It's okay.
I forgot one that I was going to show, but maybe I'll grab it at the end and show Anthony.
I thought you were like materializing them.
Oh, I love this. Viviana is like, she's got props ready and everything. And if it's something for me, then you can go get it if it's something for me. But you don't have to right now. Whenever you're.
It'll segue into next month's talk. It'll segue into next.
Okay. I'm interested. So you grew up a turtle nerd. How did you transition to kind of where you are today? How does that happen?
I think I've heard all of y'all say something similar. Like, we're really into it, really young, and you teach all your friends about it, and you think everyone is interested in this, right? Surely you're in 5th and 6th grade. I took my turtles to school, taught the class on turtles. Like, yeah, everybody loves this, right? For sure. And then junior high school comes, and you're still into turtles, and people knew I was into turtles. But you can't do anything to make yourself different in junior high and high school. So, it was always there, but it wasn't, I guess, like it is now. Back, I think after I got my group of my female ornate and the group of box turtles that, we would find on the road or whatever, I really wanted a male ornate box turtle. And back in the North Texas area, we had pet stores. Like, we don't have pet stores here really, like, you have the two major chains and that's it. So I somehow saved $20 and went and bought a male ornate box turtle. And this is kind of where things also shifted for me as a kid from keeping all these box turtles to kind of how things now. And it's a story that I don't think I've really told many people. So I save up $20. I go to the local pet store down the road, and there was one male ornate left. Okay, so I knew enough about turtles and spent enough time in pet to know what reptiles look like, like when they're moving around and what kind they are, all that stuff. So I guess I was just pretty desperate to where, all right, so last male ornate left. I'm going to get them. I have a female ornate. For some reason, you're a kid. You want baby box turtles like everybody does, especially now. It's like, okay, I have my outdoor enclosure ready, that kind of thing. I bring them home, like later on that day goes by, and I realized, thanks to the few books I had, that it was sick, like upper respiratory problem, right? And I'm thinking, oh gosh, like either I wasn't paying attention when I got them, or I was just too excited to get a male ornate. So days go by, I go back to the pet store. I said, hey, this turtle's sick, like classic upper respiratory. She goes and soaks him in water, gets his eyes to open up. She's like, oh no, look, he's fine. And I'm like, okay, here I am, like a 10, 11-year-old kid saying, okay, that old thing, here, your turtle's fine. I go home, dies a couple days later. So it's like, okay. And at that point, I was like, well, this stinks. But my dad, of course, had this awesome idea, saying, hey, well, you can dry it out in the backyard and keep its shell. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep the shell and all that stuff. So we had it in the backyard, and I let it decompose. And then finally, after it was like decomposed, I was able to like pick up the shell. And even though there was no turtle there, that's when it like kind of something went off to where I was like, this is really neat. I saw how the spine was down the back of the shell. This is the first time I really saw that young, how the pelvic bone looked like it did, how the skull, the femur. And I was like, oh my gosh, just recognizing all these parts about a box turtle. And then anyway, so that was like when I realized that I kind of like the natural history ecology stuff versus kind of I got burned keeping and, from this lady down the road selling, 6 turtles, obviously. Like everything they sold out of this pet store was sick. Like anybody at school that said, oh, I bought something from that pet store, it was sick. So I learned really quickly what was sick, before I learned what something was healthy. So that kind of just went off, and I just transitioned to like really thinking, oh my gosh, this is really cool. So I took the shell and all the like some of the bones to school because I thought everybody wants to see this too, right? Like everybody just thinks that this stuff's cool. And the teacher kind of said something like that it was along the line of, she didn't say something very complimentary or very nice. And I was like, oh, okay, And so I went home and told my dad, and he was like, don't worry about it. She doesn't understand, And it's true that like I was really interested in the anatomy of the turtle and how everything worked on the turtle and how just everything about it. So, I just kept the bones for years and kept it under the kitchen sink, and there it was. And I thought it was neat. And I think eventually my mom threw it away because, what are you going to do over a turtle shell that long? So that's kind of where I picked up liking the natural history side of stuff. And like you said, junior high, high school, you're not really into it as much. And then I think I was in college, and around 2007, I found the Texas Turtles website. And it was this website that Carl had for the whole time. And I really liked the content of the Texas Turtles website. It was just black and white, which of course, looking at it back then, I was like, okay, it reminded me of this old herpetology herp days, like the expos where everyone had a black t-shirt and white print, which is kind of what we still do. There's still this there with the website. It was like the white on black. And I started I looked at the content of it and I just thought it was really neat. And the pictures were even better. So that was my go-to, is this Texas Turtles website. And I discovered, Carl Franklin, who had done all this expeditions across the globe and these books and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Then Facebook and the Facebook group started, and it kind of just went from there on sorry, I'm distracted with what Steve posted.
He does that to all of us.
On liking the ecology and natural history stuff of that, is knowing that there was somebody else that like the same thing I do as far as turtle wise. So that's kind of how it went downhill in a good way.
That's
so
great.
so you reached out, and did you start volunteering, or how did that work?
Yeah, so it's another funny story. It was a TSA NAFTURG Comal event survey. And so I saw the advertisements for it on the Texas Turtles Facebook page. So Carl had shared going to the TSA NAFTURG volunteer stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. By this time, it was already like more recent, like 5 years. I'm gonna go. I packed my car. I left DFW at 3-4 in the morning and drove down to meet a bunch of turtle nerds that I had never met. I didn't know anybody at this Comal survey. I didn't know if I would I had a backup place to stay because I was like, I don't know these people. Like, I'm not sure if, I get there and it just doesn't jive. And then Carl was there, doing the survey with everyone. And we just started talking because he kind of asked, oh, well, where are y'all from? And asked everybody was from. And I was like, oh, I'm from Arlington. And, he was in the same area at the time. And we just started talking. And I didn't want to say, yeah, I've been following your work. I follow Texas Turtles for years on the Facebook page and stuff. Right. So it just kind of went from there. And he's like, oh, come up and visit the museum and yada, yada. And then that was it. We just kind of, I expressed to him how much I really liked the content he put on the Texas Turtles Facebook page and the ecology, natural history, some really, really neat stuff that he always put out. And I still think that, right up my alley of this stuff that I enjoy seeing. So that's kind of how it went. And then here we are, years later, made Texas Turtles a nonprofit and just kind of teamed up and went from there because we just liked the similar stuff when it comes to turtles, to put it simply.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the work that Texas Turtles is doing, like the actual work in the field that you guys are doing?
Sure. Right now, obviously, with it being COVID times,
mm-hmm.
It's a lot of just me, him, and our secretary going out everything from range extensions to simple documenting anything and everything, what we call low-hanging fruit, simple documentations from diet to county records to seeing what's where and just simple stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff we've taken care of this year. And I mean, we've traveled lots and lots of miles during COVID times, just keeping it to 2 or 3 of us. One weekend we were in El Paso, and the next week, one week we were in El Paso looking for Western painted turtles, and that next weekend we're on the Texas-Louisiana border looking for Southern painted turtles. So, wow. I mean, we get a lot of miles in doing just everything from that. And of course, we have a lot more planned coming that we want to do once COVID improves again, stuff like that. That's just touching on just the surface of what we've done this year. Very surface level.
That's incredible. Very cool. Well, so you're talking about the painted turtles going around to different parts of the state. Texas is huge.
Very, very huge. Yes.
Right? Everyone knows that, right? Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger.
That's crazy. So for somebody from the Northeast, when you say going to opposite ends of the state, okay, cool. But that's a big deal.
New Jersey,
how far are you talking about? How many hours driving is it from where the Western painted turtles are to where the Southern painted turtles are?
Probably over 12 hours. And the way Carl everything. So from our DFW to El Paso one way is 616 miles. So we go out, that's one way out there. And then all the driving around in between to, look whatever we're looking for. So that's 616 miles there and back. And then the next weekend, another, what did I write down? 163 miles there and back. So it's I think from El Paso to the Louisiana border, I calculated about 830 miles. That's just straight across. That's just, from edge to edge. And then, of course, another down to the border, where Zoogie is or Big Bend area. That's another easy 8, 9, depending on how you drive, hours. So it's a lot of driving.
I have a question just to hone in on a species that we don't really talk much about, at least since I've been on the show, painted turtles. So you're talking about going from one end of the state to another end of the state. You're going from seeing the Western painteds to the Southern painteds. is it that vast of a difference in habitat and climate? And, is really, so is there that much of like, in other words, is there that much of a different ecosystem that, southern paintids are part of, whereas compared to the western painted?
Drastically. Where we found southerns is your East Texas. I know I say this, and y'all, this more swampy bayou-like, this certain northeast, east, what we refer to as East Texas. And I know everyone here locally knows what you said. It's harder for me to describe it to y'all, but West Texas is a lot more barren. And, even just what we found, I can't get into it too much, but it's very dramatic as far as how it goes, especially the area we were looking at, because we were also on the Carlsbad, New Mexico. It was another trip. We've made so many trips this year. So we've, like I said, we've looked at Gorzugi from the Carlsbad border all the way down to like the Texas-Mexico border. So we were on the Texas-Mexico border just like 3 weekends ago. So it's a lot. I didn't calculate north and south.
And just so everyone knows, when she mentions Gorzugi, that's the Rio Grande Cooter, which is one of several really cool Texas species. Yeah. Just had to do that for people.
Thanks. Yeah, I forget.
How many native species are in Texas?
We have 34 different kinds.
Wow.
We have 3 endemics: the Kegels, the Apollon spinifera guadalupensis, Guadalupe spiny softshell, Texas map, 4: Texas cooter, Texas map, Guadalupe spiny softshell, and Kegels map.
Wow. Okay.
And I've done an all endemics 1-day trip before. Like some people come and want to like go see all this, and that's like 225 miles to hit every endemic in 1 day.
How much would you charge me for that experience?
For you?
That's
Come
awesome.
on down, and I'll figure out. I'll charge you by mile. No.
Like,
And
why
you're
do people go to
confident you
South
can see
Africa to see lions and everything when you can go to Texas and see those turtles? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've even made a plan. We've even like if somebody wanted to see, we made these hypothetical silly things like how many turtles could you see in 1 day? How many Texas turtles? If I started in Dallas, would I go East Texas, Houston, down to the border, come back up through Austin? Like we think of how many species we could hit in 1 day feasibly. So yeah, that's just the silly nerdy stuff we talk about.
Well, what's the number?
Yeah, it's great.
We didn't calculate we came to like 11 or 12. Because I mean, it's a lot of driving. I mean, I think after the TSA conference was here in Fort Worth, I took Shai from TSA India. I took him on the endemics, like all the endemics in 1 day. The day before, we did everything North Texas area that I could, all the species I could get him there, and then down to the Central Texas area and get all the rest there.
That's so cool.
That is cool. That's really neat. The
turtle world is lucky to have you in it. Okay, go ahead. I just want to say that.
What is your favorite Texas species, and has that swayed since you started with Texas turtles? Was it, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this in the wild. I can't wait to experience this animal. And then after all these years and all this time now, you're like, you know what, it's this, or is it, and is it a nostalgia thing? Because for me, that's what it always is. It's the nostalgia.
It's so hard to have a favorite because the nostalgia ones are definitely the ornate and the 3-toed box turtle.
Right.
Like those are the first ones I saw. Those what sent me down the path of ruin.
Yep.
The melanophysic spider sent me down the path of ruin. It really did, right? And then as far as working with the endemics, it's been the Versa, of course. Graphing the Texas map, and then Kegels. And there's still more to do, so much more to do Kegel-wise that hopefully we can get into next soon. Again, like I said, there's plenty of stuff to do.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, Kegels, Versa, Gorzugi, which I think we'll get into in a little bit later and stuff. So
yeah,
that's what else? The beans are pretty cool. I mean,
Sabines are cool.
The beans are
That's
pretty
good.
cool. Those are easy to see up here, or East Texas here.
Is there any one of them that gives you more of let's see, what's the word here? More of like a like an electric response to every time you find them, or like, is there something that maybe it's not necessarily your favorite species or your most nostalgic, but that, is just the biggest deal when you find them?
Probably ornates are up there, because we found an ornate last year, and it's so hard. It's so hard to find ornates crossing the road. You got to like hit it just right and kind of like win the lottery. And seeing them, it was 20 years from when I first found my first wild ornate to finally seeing them again last year in the wild, and us going out looking for other turtles and just come across the ornate box turtle. So that's always a good one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking to Viviana Ricardez, who is the Vice President of Texas Turtles. We're very excited to have her with us. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, viewers, please send them in to us. We're having a great conversation, but obviously if you have questions, things that we're not touching on, Viviana is very happy to answer your questions.
So I have a question.
Ahead, yeah.
Viviana, sometimes you'll see I get distracted because I'm reading the comments on here and whatnot. So I don't know if you've answered this already, so I apologize if it has happened. But what do you see for the future of Texas Turtles? What's next? Like, do you guys have big things on the horizon?
Good question.
There's a lot in the works, a lot going on. Like I said, it not being COVID times would help. That's kind of the biggest, putting things on hold as far as getting citizen science and volunteer projects going and stuff like that. Having bigger, filling this Texas-sized hole to be cheesy as our tagline. This Texas, so there's just a lot. There's just a lot. Wanting to get more people on board, wanting to get things, filling these gaps, finding just. I mean, like I said, we do a lot with alligator snapping turtles, which I think, there's lots of pictures that I sent on that. Just more to be done. There's just always more to be done. And I'm surprised at how far we've come, like even in a year. So we're on the right track and we're getting there. There's
awesome.
That's great.
What can our viewers do to help you?
Yeah, so there's shirts. There's awesome shirts on the Texas Turtles website. There's the donate page on the website. This is kicking off my birthday month, so doing the birthday fundraiser on Facebook, all those things. Like I said, being COVID times, hope to have volunteers out again soon and just kick off some volunteer stuff. That
awesome.
Way.
You can count me in for a shirt.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's your birthday?
In a week or two. In a couple weeks.
I was gonna say it, and we ruined your night. Wow.
My heart would have really been full if she spent her birthday with us.
Hey, so I have a really good question. Actually, it's from one of our former guests, Greg from Greg's Turtle Haven.
Whoa! Take it easy.
Did I jump the gun?
Take it easy, Steve. Can you please give him his roll-in? Are you ready for that?
Oh, sorry.
He skipped over the roll-in.
This is a question I honestly was hoping somebody would ask, and I was waiting for. Otherwise, I was going to ask it. So yeah, good. Here's the rolling. Minto's mailbag.
He's blushing.
So the mailbag. This comes from Greg from Greg's Turtle Haven, a good buddy of ours. What was it like filming with Brave Wilderness?
Oh, Greg.
You're famous. You're legitimate, way more famous than us.
Yes.
It was really, today's Coyote's birthday, if you want to talk about birthdays. So
happy birthday, Coyote.
Happy birthday, Coyote.
She just said just Coyote, first name basis, just Coyote.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal.
No big deal. I texted happy birthday this morning.
Is that his birth name?
No.
Okay.
That was going to be my question. Is like, did you want to
Dang
change your
it.
name after hanging out with somebody? Like, I would want to change my name. Like, his name's Coyote. Why can't my name be something cool?
Bear.
My name should be Bear.
It should be Bear. Yeah.
Bear Perleone.
Like, is that short for Barry? Like,
we
no,
can
it's
start
Bear.
calling you
Like,
Bear.
yeah, I know.
Just look at me.
Teddy Bear? No, I think just Bear.
Steve wants to cuddle me.
I'm pretty sure you and Steve have cuddled.
Yeah. Yep. Probably.
I
Okay.
see that being like a joint thing, like Cody Peterson and Bear Perleone,
Right.
Hey, that would work.
Picking
That
their
sounds
nose.
good.
Yeah.
I'll pitch it to him next time we hang out.
Hey, next time you text him. Not today.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
his
text
birthday.
him here after the
Yeah.
summer.
Give him a break on his
Yeah.
birthday. Let him relax, and then
text
ask him
him here in a
tomorrow,
minute.
please. That sounds great. Okay, so we didn't even give Viv a chance to answer Greg's question. Welcome to the podcast.
Great question. Okay, so last year we did the episode that when Coyote was with Animal Planet. Did an episode for that. I think that's still out on the interweb somewhere. It was really fun. It was really good. They were great to work with. Carl has worked with other TV shows, other stuff, film crews before. So he thought it was really awesome. Obviously, it was the first time I worked with a film crew. It was neat. It was a big production, of course, take after take. And we made sure the turtles, like our big, obviously, thing was we had to make sure the turtles were okay. For when you use them on stuff and keeping them comfortable and then releasing them and only keeping them for a short amount of time, that kind of stuff. Because he shows trapping and talks about the whole conservation work that Texas Turtles does on the Animal Planet episode. And then he came again this past July. So we were out there for a week again, and that's going to come in November. So stick tuned for another installment, I guess you could say, for the Brave Wilderness channel of a Texas Turtles Brave Wilderness episode. So more to come.
And where can people see that? Because you said he's not with Animal Planet, so where's that going to be?
So last year was Animal Planet. I think you can still find the Legendary Turtle of Texas on YouTube or on the Animal Planet website.
Okay.
But for this now going forward, it's just the Brave Wilderness YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Stuff we just
cool.
Awesome. I do have another question. This comes from our viewer, and I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm sorry. Chantel Swierk. She asks, have you had much exposure with Texas Diamondback terrapins?
Oh, not yet. We have gone to see them. We do have plans to do. They have a crab trap cleanup that we plan to get in and go help out with. There is a lot that needs to be done that's hopefully in the beginning works that some people are doing. I think eDNA work that we're going to pitch in on. So that's another thing. Hopefully next year. Hopefully it won't be too much longer before we get. That's another good 8-9 hours away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really calculated plan to set up to go Diamondback terrapin stuff. But we're permitted for all that stuff, for everything protected, because they're protected here in Texas. Everything protected and that sort of thing. So that's another one that's hopefully in the works.
Awesome.
Do you do any educational stuff, or what does that look like? You're doing so much in the field, but somebody with the the interpersonal skills that you do, I just wonder about what type of educational opportunities you have.
So a lot of the stuff, like I said, right now is the Facebook page, the Instagram, putting out the educational stuff that way. As far as we've done master naturalist talks, that kind of stuff. We don't do a lot of classroom stuff, obviously, with COVID. I keep coming back to why. But yeah, like everything is like educational wise is like Facebook and Instagram right now. And I guess if that's what you're getting at as far as educational stuff, putting the ecology, natural history stuff out there.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, and then whatever talks. So I mean, then all the talks and presentations wherever we get asked to a local talk or whatever it may be. Or local communities have asked us to do stuff, like even on snakes. Like especially you're on water snakes, and everyone asks that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of in-personal presentations for the last few years.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm at least in certain areas is starting to come back. But that was actually going to be one of my questions too, is like, what kind of presentations you guys do outside of, like a TSA conference or, another bigger symposium. Because, especially with the way we all have similar ways that we grew up with these animals, like, and it's so important for kids to be in that, and like hands-on with it. And like, we're starting to get now back into doing some of the educational stuff over here. Like we have some lined up for, actually this month, it's September already. But, and I was actually going to ask you if you guys do anything with other reptiles like snakes.
Yeah, like I said, Carl's been a herpetologist for 25 years. So he's always been like the one that they call for anything city-wise about snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like here on HOA, like they call me for anything snake herpetology related. They figured out that I do all this stuff.
Yeah.
out, you do all this stuff. They call you so stuff like that. And as far as education, as far as like kids, I'm definitely gonna have to give a shout out to the Spring Lake Adventure Club, which is if you see pictures of me with little kids on social media, it's these amazing group of kids that live actually down the road from me, and they started their own turtle survey.
Cool.
And like we can't do it now. I guess we could get close to doing one. They know how to set traps by themselves. They have a Right in the Rain notebook. I showed them how to take all the measurements. So they're doing their own little backyard pond lake. It's not really a pond. It's bigger than a pond, but anyways. So they do their own survey of that. So that's kind of where I've been as far as education-wise and having kids that are interested, that I'm so lucky to have an awesome group of kiddos that really like nature, and they created their own little motto, like keep wild things wild. So I haven't seen them in a while since COVID, awesome. But they've got their own, as far as here locally where I live down the road, this group of kiddos that does all this turtle work and stuff. So
that's awesome. I love hearing stuff like that. You know, it's important, you know.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good time to get into our features. If everyone's okay with that.
Sure.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's start with Pit and Peak, and we've got Viviana all up to speed on what that is. So Steve can let us know when we're ready.
Do you want to just let people know?
Yeah. So the order we're gonna go is I'm gonna go first, and then we're gonna go to Chris, then Kevin, then Viviana. That's how it's gonna go.
Do you want to just remind viewers of what Peak and Pit?
Yeah. So thank you so much. So Pit and Peak is something that my wife likes to do at the dinner table with my kids that I thought would be an interesting feature. Don't ask me why on the podcast. So we do that every month, or every time we have a show, because sometimes we don't do shows every month. We do them twice a month. Just a reminder, we'll do another show in 2 weeks. Yep. So we'll give you a reminder of that at the end of this show, and right now apparently. So Pit and Peak, just talking about something you're doing well, really excited about, and then something you're doing could be doing better, and something you wish had a better outcome, that sort of thing. And then also, that's basically it. But we go one by one. And guys, let me remind you that Viviana is our guest, so Chris, don't get too long-winded, okay? And by Chris, I mean Chris and Anthony. Kevin's always good about that. Look at that. I complimented you, Kev, on the show.
You did.
First time in 4 years, you know?
And he threw himself under the bus while complimenting you. That's a big step.
Oh, my. He is the sweetest disgruntled employee ever who gets no paycheck.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever. Okay.
I get the
Steve,
best
let's do it.
I get to hang out.
I don't even remember what mine are. Yeah, I don't care. Peak or Pit, whatever. Just hit me with one and I'll talk about it. Let's do it that way. Oh, sideways. Hello. Sometimes that happens.
But that's
all right.
okay.
That's cool. So that's
imagine he climbs walls.
Yeah, there you go. So that's Mojo, who's one of our breeder Spengler Eye. The reason I shared this photo, I wanted to publicly thank Kevin Minto for helping me, because he's very knowledgeable about technology, particularly cell phones. And he helped me acquire my new cell phone, which has turned me into a photographer. I had some people asking me like, "Hey, how'd you take that photo?" Like today on. Yeah, right. My photos just like got better. Yeah. Randy from Tort Stork made a comment like, "Where are you taking these photos?" Like Google Pixel, man.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
you used to be like, "Hey, what do you think's going on with this?" And you would just see like the thumbnail of a turtle, and you'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" You know, so that's great.
We're getting there. So that's my peak. Yeah. Steve is making fun of me for.
I think you should repeat what Steve said, because that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Why don't you repeat it?
I forgot.
Go ahead. So did I.
Steve said it used to look like Anthony was taking photos with a 3-year-old flip phone.
Because I had.
Then he ran over with the car.
Because I was using a flip phone.
I think you should go back further than 3 years. I think we're talking like when you're like the first kid in your high school to have a cell phone. I mean, I had that Nokia that was like this big. You'd be like, "Hang on, my mom's calling." You know.
I was using my Nextel. Where you at? Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Throwback. Okay. Now I don't remember what my pit was, but let's do it. Oh yeah. So that's my room where I keep my animals, and I'm having trouble with making it all work spacing wise. So yeah, there's another picture too of what it actually looks like now. I ran out of space really quickly. So yeah, I got to work on that. So that's my struggle. And look, I kept it really quick and brief, right? And now we can move on. And we're technically doing our feature.
You should make some like Murphy doors and like have things spin around on stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lazy Susan where
Yeah,
the
you have
animals
top of
can
the
go
ceiling,
into.
and it like lowers
That's a
down.
good idea.
The problem is that everything is concrete. So that's not happening. Chris is next, by the way. Steve's going to get that queued up. Yeah, while I'm continuing just to ramble about my peak or pit.
You can do pit first. It's fine.
There you go. There you go. Bam.
So my pit is, again, anybody who knows me knows that I try to go for these really big naturalistic enclosures, which is just how I prefer to keep turtles. But where I'm failing lately is really keeping an eye on everybody and even keeping up. Like this is the Florida box turtle pen where the water has just completely evaporated. So, when you do things this way and you have so many naturalistic enclosures that are that big, you don't get to see everybody all the time. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it differently, but I need to get my butt in gear with checking on animals more often. Actually, tomorrow, I'm going to go out to the spotted turtle pen and just try to find everybody and just do like a thorough health check. Because the point of these photos is you could just see like, where are you going to find a 3 or 4 inch turtle in that, And it's so that's the challenge that and it's been kind of really irking me lately. I meant to get to it today, and well, here I am with you guys.
There you go.
That's my pit.
We're doing so well with time. This is great. We're like,
yeah, I think I like it. It's good. So this is my peak, even though this looks like a terrible mess. This is side A of my exterior building where I house animals for the winter. And what I've decided to do is keep the other side, which is not shown here, to just be my practical room where everything needs to go to be comfortable for a few months over winter before they can go back outside. That's the exotic species. But in this side, we are actually doing kind of a showroom / nature center. My dream has always been to have a nature center, just a little cute nature center with New Jersey native reptiles. And on this wall here, Steve, there's another photo I think that shows it better. These are the custom snake enclosures that my father and I are building together. He's been coming down, shooting down here every time he can and just building these things. And we're going to have signs on them, educational displays for like when the Turtle Room has a fundraising event and stuff. It'll be something for people to look at and experience. Other native turtles will be raised in here. I'm going to do a pretty cool bookcase with all my books and even almost like a display cabinet with different shells and stuff like that, because Viviana's not the only one who keeps turtle shells. And so that's my peak. It's coming along, but there's a lot of work to do.
Nice job.
Now, with your nature center, are you going to be doing guided tours or just kind of like for friends and family?
There'll be a little fridge in there for beers, so help yourself.
He wants to know if he's invited. Yeah.
Yes, you're invited.
I assume I'm always invited, but that's the worst idea. I got drunk last time I was there,
That's true. That's true. You did.
So that'll
during
be fun
the day
when it's up and running. Hopefully by spring.
I don't have photos actually, so I'm just going to talk. And part of the reason I don't have photos is part of my pit and peak.
Oh,
so it's actually 1.5 peaks in one pit. So here we go. The first peak is that the last show, one of the last shows I told you how I had a jailbreak and 11 of my 3-kilo box turtles got out.
Oh,
I have now gotten all of them back. I found 8 right off the rip, and then I had 3 different neighbors just bring them to my house. One of them I've never even met before. He was like 3 houses away, but he asked his neighbor, and that neighbor knew that I did because he could see over my fence. So very, very happy about that. It was something that was really bothering me. Now for my second peak was, or 0.5 anyway, I got promoted at work. So that's been really great. I'm very happy about that. It took me 5 years to do that. I've been pushing for it. But that leads into the pit. Because of this, I've been stressing so much there. I haven't gotten a lot of times to take care of animals as much as I would have liked. Get the inside ready. I play what's called Turtle Room Tetris every year, where things are going back inside. And my room is about half the size of Anthony's, but I don't keep nearly as much as him. So getting that all figured out. So it's been a struggle to get everything completed before stuff goes on, you know?
What are you trying to say?
Not at all. You know, we were talking about hoarding books and turtles. You know, I just,
Okay.
Yeah. So that's been tough, but making do. Pit and peak, and pit
Awesome, man.
and peak and
Very
peak.
nice.
Congrats
Very
again
nice.
on the promotion.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Pumped.
And congrats on finding the turtles.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that.
You're
I'm
no
more
longer-
happy about that than the other thing. You know,
You're no longer that guy, you know?
reinforced.
That's winning pit and peak, by the way. When you can give
Yeah.
2 positives and call it a pit and peak, it's like a job interview, but that's when you won. You say, tell us about your biggest strength, tell us about your biggest weakness, and you give them 2 strengths. Well, when I was
My
4
biggest
years old, I
weakness
was
is I'm
really
strong.
bad at XYZ. Yeah, exactly right. My biggest weakness is that I just care too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Next. And speaking of next,
Yeah.
Viviana.
All right. Okay. So this is my pit and my peak. And I guess this is the first thing that came to mind when you told me about pit and peak. This is 1 year's worth of turtle surveys from Texas to, I think when I went up to Pennsylvania up there, from ASTs in Harris County, from ASTs up here in the North Texas area. That is all the people I have not seen in this year. And I know that's kind of sad, but I miss all these people so much. Going back a little bit to like being a kid, and we talked about, you know, we thought everybody would be interested in turtles, and then that's not always the case. And not having that turtle family and not having other turtle nerds to be with, and how I found that through the Comal, through all these turtle surveys, and thanks to social media, finding this group of people that has been the best turtle family there is. So I miss everyone so much. I'm so ready to see everyone like this again for these group pictures. But the peak of it is that as of right now, everyone is happy and healthy and safe, and everyone's doing well. And I hope all my turtle family continues to stay happy and healthy and safe, so I can see everyone, we can all get together like that again. That's what I'm most excited for. And that's the peak, is that at least I can talk to everyone via social media and kind of see everyone that way. So these are the people that are awesome, that have become my turtle family.
That's great.
Just so everyone's aware, Steve sends messages during the podcast, little typed messages, which can be helpful, but they can also be the worst too, because then you're in the middle of finishing a thought, and then here comes like a typed message that only we can see and the viewers can't. So
I don't think anybody's as bad as I am.
No, Steve gets Chris the worst. Chris is the worst. He's just like deer in headlights, just freezes in the middle of his conclusion.
I can't hide it. I'm like,
Viviana, we didn't even warn her about this, and she's done really, really well.
Like,
but there's been a couple times where Steve's sent something like really sweet or really nice, and Viviana's talking, and then like her voice will go up or she'll laugh in the middle of talking. Yeah. And a viewer's probably like, what the heck? Why is she laughing like that?
I know. I sound like a crazier person, you know?
Yeah, I should have warned you about that. We got on early, and like I was trying to send warnings your way, and I forgot about that one. But we'll get better, as Steve just sent us in chat.
Not me. I think he knows now when I'm talking to just not do it.
Hey, so I don't know if this is possible, but Eric Roth would like Steve to play too.
Ooh, look at that.
You have a pit
and peak. Anything in your head?
Here's the thing that Eric Roth needs to understand, and Eric, I love you. If we try to change up the technology right now, it could be catastrophic. You don't cross the streams. You understand?
Is that true, Steve?
Here we go. It's happening.
It's happening.
Eric, you're getting what you asked for.
Oh boy!
Kev, I told Viviana that you were going to be careful about which questions you brought to the podcast, and then this happened.
What kind of cup are you drinking out? Is that a Toiga?
I don't think this was like a topic, you know?
Tiger.
It's a Toiga.
Tiger saw a man.
This is my tiger colored drink.
It's actually
Australia Zoo. There you go.
It's Australia Zoo. Yeah, that's got the man on there.
I just have Mike Wazowski.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
He's watching.
Steve, there it is.
Henry VIII.
Yeah, they should be able to hear
Henry VIII.
It might be a
Good
little
call.
loud,
Yeah, good
but
catch.
They should be able to hear me.
Yeah,
Hey,
let us
Why
know
do you
it.
have to catch me?
So what just happened? Oh, crap. Guys, I'm not sure what happened. So, guys, can you hear me?
Topic.
Oh,
Hey, guys,
all right.
our internet blanked, so everybody
Oh.
got a couple minute or a couple seconds of nothing.
Cool.
Just FYI.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well,
Thanks,
Brad,
we
they
talked
missed
about
the mugs.
Kevin.
We're good.
Thanks for bringing that great question
Okay.
to us, Kevin. Really good idea.
All right, back on. Hopefully, we're all back on in a second.
Cool.
There we go. I think
Welcome
Yep,
back.
We're all back on.
Anything else
All
we
right.
could do to just
We
mix
take-
everything up live?
So those were unrelated. So I think everybody can hear me. Can you? Give
the
me a
viewers
thumbs
hear?
up out there.
Thumbs up in the world.
But anyway, yeah. So that was actually unrelated. I'm loading my mic in, and then we briefly lost internet for a second, so you all disappeared.
I don't believe you that it was unrelated. But
It's all my fault.
Steve, can
Anyhow.
they see you too, or just hear you?
They can just hear me.
Yeah, they can hear him.
I don't have camera hooked
You're
up. for
hearing
them
the
yet.
voice of Steve Enders.
pay no attention to the man behind the
um,
curtain.
So Peak and Pit, I guess. I have a spot that I need to just kind of figure out how I want to rearrange it. It's both a pit and a peak. I now have like some new space. I just have to figure out what I want to do with it in a way that's like effective and productive for raising hopefully map turtle and cicalia hatchlings next year. So
Four-eyed turtles.
Very
Cicalia
nice.
means four-eyed turtles.
Or eels, right?
yeah.
Yes, or Beals-eyed turtles. Yep.
Yep.
Or formerly the false-eyed turtle,
Right.
Cicalia pseudo-chelata.
Cool
You got
story, bro. Pen drop.
Drop the pen. It happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kevin's looking at the questions again. Don't you dare.
What you got? What you got? What you
Don't
got?
you even
So they were
dare.
hoping. No, there's nothing. We're good.
Okay.
Steve, I was gonna see if you throw up my closure really quick because it was also a peak, and I should have put that in there. That it was also a peak. That another 2-part story of being a kid and having box turtles for the first time, and like Kevin knows, 3-toed box turtles are great escape artists.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a kid, hunting down 3-toed box turtles that got out, and then it turning into a catastrophe when one of my 3-toed box turtles got chewed up by the neighbor's dog. And after that, I was also like, okay, this is not fun. Realizing all that, and so recently I have, thanks to my amazing brother-in-law who is from Lidditz, Pennsylvania, I basically went out and Steve is cheering. So a little Lidditz PA shout out. I basically went out to this part of the yard and said, hey, can you build me an enclosure like from here to here? And lucky for me, he's an engineer. So he's like, all right. A few days later comes back with all this stuff and is building me the my childhood dream come true enclosure, from being a kid, having a cinder block enclosure, dealing with box turtles getting out, to being able to have a secure, like the edging is all got cinder blocks and bricks under it and pavers, and then there's a lid that's going to go on that he's still finishing. So I'm super thrilled to have this enclosure. There's my red foot that is
Cool.
currently big enough, and his little ADP protection sign. So it's obviously nowhere where I want it yet, because I want stuff to grow and to get more shade and all that stuff. But watching him do it, I had no idea it was going to be this amazing. I'm just so lucky every time I go out there. And that's obviously the frame in the middle where the lids, because there's going to be screen lids. And there's one of my I was cracking up at the color I picked to paint it, because the color I picked, I don't know if y'all have heard of the Blush and Bashful, a girl having her colors is being Blush and Bashful, but my colors are Terrapene, beige, and brown. So I picked 3-toe box turtle brown, which I was like, okay, I might lose them in the enclosure. But so that's my super duper happy thing that's been going on this past month, and
That's
getting
awesome.
them all set up out there.
That is incredible.
Awesome.
Super lucky. And I'm paying him in nachos and margaritas, which is even better.
Why would you pay in anything else? Now I want a margarita.
I want nachos.
You get the nachos stuck together. That's one nacho.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
Jack Black.
Yes,
Bingo.
Saving Silverman. Saving
Mhm.
Silverman.
It was
Great,
the lug nut fixed it.
great reference.
I
play
talk about that
croquet
movie
out there.
once a month.
Really great movie. I didn't know you guys liked
Yeah.
that movie.
Oh, I
Terrific.
love that
Are you
movie.
kidding? Come on.
Yeah,
Terrific. I'm
love
We
it.
gotta have
embarrassed. I
we
didn't
have
know.
to just do a movies quote.
Stealer of my friend.
Let's get to our next feature. Okay, with
Oh.
so our next feature is our best Taxa spotlight thing, where we do the timed rundown. So everyone is timed except, of course, our esteemed guest Viviana. So we're going to keep ours under a minute, and Viv, you get as much time as you want. And we're going to talk about, this one is going to be the like most impressive animal or an exciting story of something that you've encountered in the field, right? Everyone agree on that one?
So,
That's what we
yeah.
said. I didn't say that wrong, right?
favorite taxa? What's your favorite taxa? I thought go ahead.
I thought it was like
repeat
most
that.
memorable or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That's kind of what I
Most-
went for. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what I said. Sometimes I just throw these out and I black out and I don't remember what I said, but I'm pretty sure it was something like that. So you can, it's like an art project. You take it, the assignment is whatever it is, and then you take it and you add your own whatever to it. There's no wrong answer here at all. But something in something along the lines of an animal or a specimen or something that was kind of like your favorite that you've encountered in the wild. Does that sound right, Kevin and Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
Viviana, that's what
I'm
you were
trying to
told?
think which pick Steve's going to put up. That's why I'm wondering. Anyway, well, y'all go ahead. I'll catch up.
It's
Same
gonna
order, right?
be great. Same order. That means I'm first.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, this is going to be tough to tell in 1 minute.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, I'm ready. I am not ready. He's counting down. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. So in Connecticut, there's supposedly a population of spiny softshell turtles, but they're not native, so they would be introduced, and they'd never been known by science. And I went out with the herpetologist from Connecticut and just happened to go that day, and I was like the best beginner's luck charm for him. We were finding large snapping turtles. We found 4 large snapping turtles to get blood and tissue samples on within before lunch. So then we decided to go look for these soft shells, and we found one, the first one ever found by science, which is now unfortunately preserved at the Natural History Museum in New York City. And then there was also a second picture, which Steve, I don't know if you could put up, but we kept looking. Oh, you can.
Oh, that's right.
And that was a northern red belly cooter, which is not native to Connecticut either, and that was the first one ever found in Connecticut on record. And it was a small one, probably too small to be a released pet. So it was just like super cool. It ended up being this awesome day just because I decided
Same day, yeah.
to stay home.
Yeah.
Same day.
I remember when you were texting us about that when you went.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
blew my mind. So both of
That's
those animals are at the Natural History Museum now.
You had said that the herpetologist, he didn't know what it was, right? They were guessing other things, and you just happened to be there, and you
Yeah,
kept
well, it's
them.
kind of like talking about the veterinarians last show.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
you know, so he knows everything there is. He's a naturalist. He knows everything there is about Connecticut wildlife, and those animals are not Connecticut wildlife. So when he found the red belly, he wasn't expecting it, and he jumped in and grabbed it, and he's like, "Man, what the heck is this? Some kind of map turtle?" And as soon as he flipped it over, like, I know exactly what that is. I have a whole bunch of those at home.
Yeah.
because- yeah, because
That's cool.
I'm a weirdo. Yeah.
It wasn't a dig on him, just like it was
Yeah,
so
exactly.
fortuitous that you were there.
It's so
Yeah.
it's so weird that he probably would have sent a couple pictures to someone to be like, "Is this a cooter?" And yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
there's jokes there that could be said. I won't touch them.
We have those jokes all the time.
Right? Can you not?
I'm there. I'm already there.
But
already
it's,
there.
it's different for us in Connecticut. We don't have any native cooters here, so it's,
Oh,
it's
that's how
different.
Andy Weber and I became BFFs when he was down here and we were
Cooter jokes?
doing Texana. And we were pit tagging Texana, so.
that's so awesome. I love that species, by the way, Texas cooter.
It's
Okay.
awesome, yeah.
Chris is next.
I'm next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, he's counting down right now. Oh, I know that.
So in 2015, I was invited out by the Minnesota Herpetological Society to go out and speak about garden state tortoise and what I've done here, there, blah, 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 blah. What I did not know is that the DNR was going to surprise me out there and take me out to the field to do some research with them on Blanding's turtles, which was incredible because I've never gotten to see them in the wild, and I've kept Blanding's turtles a large portion of my life. Still, even though keeping them, not getting to see them in the wild was a big deal for me. So this is the very first Blanding's turtle that we came in contact out there in 2015. She was crossing the road going to nest because it was June. It was amazing. We saw about 15 females there. We got to weigh them. We got to take measurements and plenty of photos. And it was just an amazing surprise. Jeff Leclerc and all those guys were amazing. This is a little quick photo of their habitat, which I actually used to model my own habitat here for my own Blanding's turtles. And it was just the trip of the lifetime. And of course, the very first Blanding's turtle that I ever got to see in the wild is just completely takes the cake for me. And there she is, an old female, but still reproductive and going strong. Hope she's doing well out there still.
Have you ever watched the show Pawn Stars? No, not Pawn Stars. What the heck is the name of it? With the Storage Wars.
Storage Wars, yeah.
Auctioneer. You remember that one? Yes. So Chris, did you know that the auctioneer makes the most money out of everyone on that show?
Why? Because he talks fast?
Well, I think he's needed to, make the whole thing happen.
Oh, okay.
And everybody pays him. And, the
he's
lady
not
says,
really needed.
Don't forget to pay the
why do you got to talk that fast?
You tell me.
I don't know. Ask Chris. He just did it about a Blanding's turtle.
Well, he only has 1 minute,
You want to give me 30 seconds? I'll do it. I'll do it to that too.
I'm saying this guy's in like a
That's
parking
why
lot.
Anthony gave me the wonderful
give him
idea
2 minutes.
for
Give him 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's why Anthony gave me the wonderful idea for one of my YouTube series now, the Turtle Crossing.
I did. I called him and was like, "Listen, Chris, this is what you have to do. You have an opportunity here to really blow up your YouTube channel." We had that conversation.
I love the journal. It's my favorite. It's how I start. It's how I start my day, man. Thank you.
Yeah, with a Disney mug and looking at your turtles.
The best. The best.
It is the best.
You just talk about the trials and tribulations of being a dad and keeping turtles.
Yep.
That's how it relates,
I just love everyone here right now. This is just great.
Listen.
Flowing show.
I spend every single morning outside with my daughters picking hibiscus. Just like you had that episode about feeding tortoises. Every morning I do that.
Yeah. Hibiscus is the best, man.
Mm.
It's your turn.
All right, I'm up. So, I have a spot in Connecticut. We have 8 native turtles, 12 if you count sea turtles, but 8 native turtles. And in this one spot, I can find 5 of them within 150 feet of each other. I also don't have pictures, so I'm sorry here. But I can find 5 of them within 150 feet of each other.
We're professionals.
And every summer, I take a week off in June to go get footage, find the animals laying, things like that. And about 3 years ago, I was walking through, and 50 feet in front of me, a redfoot tortoise just walks out of the woods. And I was like, I can't be seeing this right. Because it was a little bit further off. I'm like, this can't be right. And I run over there, and sure enough, it was a redfoot tortoise. And I think, what are the chances of it walking out at the moment that I was there? It's not like a known turtle spot. I go there with 2 of my buddies, and that's it. Like, if anyone else found that and it landed in anyone else's hands, like, what would have happened? And I still have that animal. It's still one of my favorite animals to the day. I always wanted one, and my wife was like, no, we're not getting one. She put the veto out. And then I came home with this, and she fell in love instantly. I'm like, we'll keep it for a couple days, and I'll find a home. She's like, no, I think we can keep it.
How did she believe you?
The best, man.
Well, it's true. She didn't believe me. I have a good friend named Connor that showed me the spot, and she's like, I know Connor gave that to you. And I'm like, I swear on our children, he didn't give that to me.
If I came home and was like, hey, Shannon, this leaf turtle just appeared on my ride home from work, she's like, you're a liar, and I'm putting it on Craigslist once you go to sleep.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, but it was absolutely true. So that was my coolest. While it wasn't in their wilds, it's in the wild story. So there we go.
You go, man.
Anthony's gonna start getting knocks on his door, like, "Hi, I'm here for the leaf turtle." He's like, "What?
The hell you are?"
One cyclemens dentata coming up.
Okay.
All right.
I think when y'all asked me to pick, there we go. This is a really fun taxa that I got to work with early last year, and I was just blown away getting to help out and pit tag and do the little bit of work that we did with the Rio Grande Cooter, and I just fell in love with them. They were just so neat, and seeing them where we saw them, like on the Texas-Mexico border and just traveling through the border parts of Texas, the Rio Grande Cooter just kind of became a quick, easy favorite of mine. And so that's it. It's just I had so much fun working with them, and was just blown away by how like
beautiful
neat they are. Isn't that adorable and gorgeous? Like they were just fantastic. So it's definitely one of my, I guess, like my favorite of the cooters. I mean, I feel like I have a little bit of a favorite in each genus as it is, as far as, but I mean, I just love these. And like I said, I don't get to see them all the time, so it's whenever we go to their range and we're looking for them, I get excited every time I see them. Their eyes are just really, really neat.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
So around the time when I started to realize there was more to all of this than like what was in my backyard, and for me that was alligator snapping turtles that did that for me, and then researching online and finding the internet-based stuff, and I found John Richards of Loggerhead Acres online, and the first time I ever made an online purchase was a Rio Grande Cooter. And that turtle was just incredible. It was just something like I had never seen. And when you see pictures of those small ones, they're just incredible. Just an awesome turtle. That species means a lot to me.
We had one past. I don't think I even knew you guys. Well, I don't remember when it was, but there was a Rio Grande Cooter that was part of a rescue that John brought me. John from Popcorn Park Zoo. It's going back years now. That was at the old house, and I wasn't even sure what it was at first. Once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, but they really are a very unique cooter, and they kind of remind me of like how you and I are with the northern red bellies. There's something so special about northern red bellies. They're just they're up here.
And there were petitions for federal listing, so we've helped give our information and what we found off those studies and the pics and the information we have collected, and the other people that are and have worked with them, so that's up for, but that goes into all that wormhole of federal listing and their range and how common they are. So that's more also to be determined as far as that goes. So I just really enjoyed working with them when we got to help out and do what we did for that initiative. So yeah.
Cool.
That's incredible.
And I think some AS
let's unleash them.
Let's unleash them.
Story. So this was back last year when we were filming with Coyote, and I didn't think it was anything special, but Carl really thought it was really interesting. And we've caught a 100-pound alligator snapping turtle, and you know how we put it against our leg and hold him up like we do it? The marginals of the snapping turtle left perfect shaped bruises in all of my legs across the board. So before people message me oh my gosh, you have something wrong, your blood, blah, 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 I'm fine, my blood work is good, I've gotten all that checked out. I've had so many people thinking, oh my gosh, something's wrong. I'm dealing with thyroid issues, which could be why I bruise so easily, but I just get these perfectly shaped AST marginals. And I had shown, I think, Mario, Coyote, and Carl, oh my gosh, I have these shaped bruises. There it is. You see where the marginals line up on my legs. And Carl grabs the camera, and I'm like, you're not putting this on Facebook? I'm not letting you put these pictures of my bruised leg on Facebook. And he did. But it ended up being an interesting, funny story of just how I get these funny AST marginal shaped bruises. So there's that. And then if y'all saw what he posted earlier today on the Texas Turtles Facebook page, he posted another incident where my eyes got swole shut from this past summer. So go over to the Texas Turtles Facebook page if you want to see that story. I don't know if Steve has it up or if y'all want to hear about that story. It was another turtle run-in.
With your eyes? You say with your eyes?
Yeah. So, like I said, he just posted on the Facebook page today. We found a yellow mud turtle. We were out looking for Texas tortoises, and these roads down in South Texas. And we found a yellow mud. It had just rained. We're going through all this mud and stuff. I pick up the little yellow mud turtle. We look at it, take pictures, all that stuff. We put it back down, put it, away from the road. And I go and I just kind of like did this, and I just kind of rubbed my eye, and my eye swelled shut. So we think it was the musk, because I held it right where the musk turtle musks. I like held it, perfectly like you hold a musk turtle. So all that musk got on my fingers. I didn't think twice. Just went to go rub my eye, and my eye ended up swelling totally shut. So those are all on Facebook. He's doing a good job of documenting the worst.
I gotta see if Casey. I gotta see if my wife Casey has photos of. I picked up a wild box turtle up in central Jersey, and he must have come through poison ivy. Because I found him, blah blah, didn't think anything of it, put him down, and then I'm in the car, and I was going to pick her up from work, and this is when we lived up north, and as I'm driving, I started feeling something, and then both my eyes completely swollen shut.
Yep.
Couldn't figure out, itchy everywhere, and then I went to the doctor, and he gave me a steroid. He's like, yeah, you've got poison ivy, and I'm thinking, how the hell and that must have been it. It must have been on his shell, and then
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there was definitely no thing. Because I thought, what else could I have touched? But it was actually just from touching and photographing the turtle to getting in the truck, like within minutes. Like I didn't even have time to touch anything. It was like farmland. There was not any poison ivy. It's Texas tortoise country, and so it wasn't. I did. We still think, and I'm kind of like, do I need to do it again? Like, it's for science, right? Like, do I need to do this again? I'm kind of on the fence of like, I want to know for sure if that's it. So it was just interesting and more funny pictures on social media of my ouchies, bumps and bruises.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I thought when I first saw the bruises, I thought maybe that you had pants on and were bitten by one. Because top and bottom, like if it's squeezed, it probably wouldn't have looked like that. But that's wild.
Carl did get bit last year by an AST, but he got we were filming and the cameras were rolling, and we just hear the AST chomp, and I look over, and he just like, keep rolling, guys. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look over, and his finger's gonna be on the ground, and thankfully it just grazed him. I mean, it got his finger, but he's fine. He didn't lose anything. I really thought I was going to look over and he was not going to have a finger, and we're going to have to finish filming with like a bandage around his finger.
He's tough. That's a bonus. That's a bonus.
Yeah,
It's like,
the alligator snapping turtle let go. Obviously, they were kind of scared.
That's awesome. Wow. So before we end this episode, I'd like to just, if you would be open to letting people know where they can donate or how they can support the work that you're doing with Texas Turtles. I mean, this work sounds absolutely incredible, and we want to send people your way if we can.
Yeah.
Sure. There's the website, which is texasturtles.org, Texas Turtles on Facebook, Texas Turtles Org on Instagram, Texas Turtles on Twitter. But T-shirts and donations, and like I said, I'm running for my birthday month fundraiser for Texas Turtles, and you can find all of our awesome ecology, natural history, nerd stuff on the Texas Turtles Facebook page and on Instagram.
Cool.
Awesome. Any final questions, guys, for Viv, or no?
I'm just pumped you came on.
Yeah, this has been incredible. Such an enjoyable show, and I feel like we could probably talk for 8 hours without finally getting too tired or whatever and needing to stop. But we don't want to go too far into the what the shell timeline because their show is today too. This is weird that we ended up on the same day. They switched to Tuesdays, and we did it because of the holiday. So we're going to be respectful to those guys if we can. Any final words for us, Viviana?
Thank you guys so much. It's been fun watching y'all, the podcast over the years. And I think I talked to y'all a little before the show, how just looking back on other podcast episodes and just how far things have come and just everything that's happened. Like I said, I've done a lot of looking back on stuff from being a kid to now and turtle work and all the amazing stuff that's happening just across the state with turtle work. Like I never would have imagined as a little kid for someone to tell you, hey, you can do this one day, or this can actually happen. And you're going to find other mutual nerds that love this stuff as much as as much as we do. So I appreciate all of y'all, and I think it's awesome. And everyone stay safe and happy and strong.
That's
Thank you so much.
That was great.
If I can just say, it's been a pleasure to spend this time with you. I know you and Steve have a bit of a relationship from past hangouts and things, and for Chris and Kevin and I, this is newer.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a pleasure. I don't know why it's taken so long for us to get to know each other, probably because we live on different sides of the country, but it's been great. And for me, this is the best part of having the podcast, is being able to sit down and have conversations with people like yourself. Just absolutely wonderful. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and for everything you're doing as well. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with Emma Locke from Emzotic, and that'll be on a Monday, the 14th of September. And then 2 weeks after that, is it 2 weeks after that? Are you looking at the 3 weeks after that? 3 weeks after that, we'll be with Carl Franklin. Did you knew the date, Viviana? You're like counting
5th.
down the date for his.
October 5th, like part 2 of Texas Turtles back to back.
Yeah, there you go. Part 2.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
It's Texas Turtles part 2, and like I said, Carl's he's coming. He's ready to talk to you about Spangler Eye, Anthony.
Really?
So be ready. You better redo some homework. I'll send you. We'll send you.
You better read your book.
Redo your homework. You better look up some who else published on Spangler Eye before. I think when you were a kid.
I'm in.
So.
I'm in.
So there's
I've got it all.
Carl will be an amazing show, and like I said, 25 years experience. You'll have all kinds of awesome stories.
That sounds awesome.
So Spangler Eye talk also for sure when Carl's on in October.
I didn't realize it was my birthday. Your birthday's coming up. Happy birthday, and happy birthday
My
to
birthday
Coyote.
is next week.
Yep, but apparently it's my birthday because I get to talk to Carl Franklin about Spangler Eye. Great.
Spangler Eye in October.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yep.
Thank
you,
guys.
guys.
Appreciate it so much.
Bye, guys. Good night.